Hi, my name is Haley Reed, and today I will be telling you my informative speech. But first, let me start off by showing you my audience, and then I will begin. Teenage anxiety. Anxiety disorders are the most common psychiatric disorder in children and teenagers. Studies differ, but most suggest that 15 to 30% of youth will have an anxiety disorder before the age of 18. There are teenagers every day that suffer from anxiety. These teens' daily lifestyles are affected, and people don't understand their struggles. I am one of these teens that have an anxiety disorder. It affects me from the time I wake up to the time I lay down to go to sleep. Teenage anxiety is a disorder that not many people know how to handle and don't understand the complications that come with having it. Today I will be talking to you about test anxiety, anxiety over people's expectations, and coping habits. First, let's talk about test anxiety. Picture this. You went to class, completed your homework, and studied. You get ready to take a test, and you're confident that you know what you're doing. Once the test is in your hands, you then forget everything you knew. This reaction is called the fight-flight response. What this means is the anxiety you feel can make it difficult or even near impossible to complete a test. Not only are you freaking out about the test, but your senses are now amplified. Before taking the test, you didn't notice all the things happening around you. You didn't see the students that were looking at you or hear the people next to you tapping their pencils on their desk. While sitting there waiting for you to finish the test, the people all around you aren't making it any easier. What people don't know is that teenagers with anxiety don't do better when people make them feel rushed. Now that we've talked about test anxiety, we're going to talk about anxiety over people's expectations. Gustavo Rossetti once said, "Live your life for you, not to please expectations." Teens have to do difficult things every day, and sometimes the pressure of those expectations gets too overwhelming. They have a great deal of pressure to succeed these days, and it's become a big part of daily teenage life. Some teens while playing sports thrive under pressure. Teens with anxiety break down at just the thought of pressure. When your team and coaches depend on you to win in a sport, teens with anxiety will most likely be too afraid to fail. The way that their mind works is different from those who don't have anxiety. Anxious teens fall apart when they're put on the spot. This isn't because they can't do what's been asked, but it's the thought that they won't reach people's expectations. People expect things from others all the time, but what they don't know is that it also causes some teens to have a negative mindset. Once they have this negative mindset, they will get discouraged and most likely fail at the task at hand. Now that we've discussed test anxiety over people's expectations, let's discuss coping habits. According to Clarity Clinic, the coping habits can present themselves is because when we're so overwhelmed in our minds, we start to act out as a way to distract ourselves. Different habits can occur from something like fidgeting to nail biting. You've probably noticed some teens who move around constantly. When the body has high levels of stress hormones, anxious fidgeting occurs. There are even teenagers who don't even realize that they're doing these certain movements. Nail biting is another habit that is common. I personally have this habit, and it's not the best one to have. My nail biting gets so bad to the point where my fingers bleed or even hurt constantly. There are different things I have tried to make myself stop, such as putting bitter tasting nail polish on my nails, Band-Aids on my fingertips, and replacing this habit with a new one. The only solution that has helped me is rubber band popping. People tend to judge teens that use coping habits because they think it's either strange or they use this flaw as a way to think of them differently. By looking at these teens in an unusual way can cause them to have an increase in their anxiety levels. In conclusion, you've learned about teenage anxiety and what they have to live with on a daily basis. Teenage anxiety is a disorder that most people aren't sensitive to because they aren't familiar with it. I have explained what test anxiety is, what anxiety over people's expectations does, and what different coping habits can develop. After opening your eyes to the world of a teenager with anxiety, know that it is a burden that can be controlled.